Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and welcome to the Amateur Otaku podcast. How's everybody doing out there? I am Brandon Alvarado, the Scarlet fan here, and I'm very excited to be here to talk anime with you guys. I hope you guys are having a great time enjoying this awesome show that we're covering, The World Ends With You, the animation, a show produced by Square Enix. And based on the game of the same name, and it follows the storyline of the main game, The World Is With You, which is produced by Tetsuya Nomura of Square Enix fame and controversy, and also a beloved game by many people that was released on pocket devices like PSPs, DSs, and stuff like that. And now it's making its way back to our lives through this animation and through the new port on Switch. Um, but so far, we at the Amateur Taco are enjoying the show. Isaac recommended that we cover it because a lot of people are not covering and are really excited to do so. And we are now here to cover episode 3, Erased, of The World Ends With You, the animation. If you love what we do here at the Amateur Otaku, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You click on the like button and you click on the bell for notifications so you do not miss any streams, you don't miss any episodes, you don't miss any reactions, you don't miss any reviews that we do on The World's End With You, on My Hero Academia manga and anime, and the upcoming series that we're going to start where we're going to cover the Promised Neverland manga after the train wreck that season 2 was. But without further ado, as you guys know, I never come here by myself unless I'm doing like a regular random news thing. But this show, whenever I run it, I always come accompanied with a great friend, but not just any friend, the one, the only, my partner in crime against the noise, Isaac Wolf. What is up, man?
It's going good, and I unfortunately have to put you on the spot right at cue because The World Ends With You never arrived on PSP, just Android, iOS, and Nintendo DS.
It
I'm
didn't even
all,
get to PS Vita?
nope,
Why? I thought that it did.
but it didn't.
Are you sure?
Yep, I'm sure.
How sure are you?
I'm sure, as in sure, and triple check the second you mentioned PSP, and I'm just that's not right.
Okay. Okay. Are you sure?
Yes, shut up and get on with the show.
Oh, there's a show going on? Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I had a feeling because Square Enix almost always releases everything on PlayStation in one way, shape, or form. So I just got excited. But yes, World's End With You, the animation. Last week we started our series. We covered the first 2 episodes. Today we're covering episode 3, which released. I think it was it Saturday or last Friday, Isaac?
Uh, the World's End With You arrives on Fridays, and then the My Hero Academia episodes arrive on Saturday.
Awesome. So, chapter 3, Erased. We're here. We're ready to cover it. Isaac, random first thoughts on the show, on the episode so far. Go.
How should I put it? It certainly made my suspicions correct about it not being a short series. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Because and no, when a certain scene happened, I'm just shit,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
And by the way, spoilers ahead. I mean, we're
Yeah.
going to talk spoiler. This is a spoiler reaction review of The World Ends With You episode 3. So we're going to spoil the hell out of it. So if you have not seen anything of this show, run away. The only reason you should be listening to this episode is either because you're watching the show or you've played the game. If you have no idea of the story and do not want to be spoiled, run away and you can come back to the series whenever you actually pick up the show and watch it. But yeah, I think I have the same feeling as you. More than anything, what a great episode! I mean, so much happened, but I think this is the episode that's had the best pacing, the best plot development. I like how it shows the ruthlessness of the storytelling. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like like in the beginning, everything felt very no pun intended, very simple and clean, and get it, Kingdom Hearts reference. Everything felt very simple and clean, very cut and dry. But as you know, we start seeing some of the dark undertones on episode two. But now in this episode, apart from the great action set pieces and a lot of the new little bits and pieces of information of like the explanation of the mythology when it comes to what the entry fee is and all those little bits and pieces, um, the show took a very dark turn, and we knew that there was such a thing as people being erased. We knew there was such a thing as this being a death game and a battle for reincarnation or rebirth. But the fact that we see one of the main characters be erased to oblivion ruthlessly to a degree, and done in such an emotional manner, it gave me like when you watch the pilot for Promised Neverland, when it
Yeah.
gets like really dark really quick, but in a way that's not distasteful, in a way that is just like it's the world is the truth, the ruthlessness of the world showing its fangs and nails and claws. You know what I mean? Like you always saw monsters in the world, but now you really know how bad things are or how bad things can be. And I feel even more invested. Um, yeah, I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Did you
And yeah,
go ahead?
did I what?
Did you get Promised Neverland vibes, or did you feel it darker or not that dark?
I mean, I can understand what you're saying about the whole getting darker, but I don't know if I would call it, uh, can call it exactly uh, promise. But I see what you mean with more switch in tone because Promise Neverland, it's kind of starts all whimsy and happy. Just we live in an orphanage, and everyone loves each other. Mom loves each other too.
And everything's
Oh
bubbly
shit!
and
Oh shit! We are food. Uh,
yes, yes.
this wasn't the same thing because we know that it could be a race. We know that they were in sort of like a quote unquote death match
Hmm.
or death game. So, but and now it came from, how should I put it? Uh, I wouldn't say Game of Thrones slash Attack on Titans, but it was more like that. That it showed
Yes,
that
because it
uh,
happened like something normal. It didn't happen. I know what you mean.
it
Like I
happened.
think yeah, it's like it was a death without buildup. It just happened in front of our eyes, and we're meant to react point blank at the death, just like the characters are. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think that's
exactly.
I think when you say Game of Thrones, I immediately got what you were saying. Because when a death happens in Game of Thrones, like when you least suspect it, a fan favorite can just die. And it can be in the most gruesome of ways or in the most unexpected of ways. Click here to watch a video of the Red Wedding. Um, you know, like like it's
Uh-huh.
like it's something that it can be just dramatic. But what I like about it is that you know how I said that this is like the episode with the best pacing. Um,
Yeah,
in the beginning, we talked about how, to a degree, the show feels a bit too linear. It feels like a video game walkthrough to a degree, and we talked about how that could be to its detriment. Like for example, one of the places of this episode where I felt that the fact that I know that it's based on a video game and the fact that I know that they're doing the story, some of the battles don't really have stakes for me because you know the main character has to win. Because if he
yeah,
doesn't win, the story doesn't move forward. But I kind of like how they're downplaying that by making those moments like the death of Rhyme, um, and what happens at the end of the episode, which we're not going to go yet, have such an emotional depth to those moments. I think the voice acting is superb. I think the way they're directing and constructing those moments is so good that even though you have the predictability of the heroes or the protagonists winning the battles, even though you have that, you also have a good story to keep you anchored and interested in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, like the whole thing with Beat dealing with Rhyme's death, the whole thing that we find out without a word. And I know that you're a big fan of Show Not Tell. You're a big fan of
Yeah.
that. What a great moment at the death of Rhyme where Rhyme instinctively jumps to save Beat, and then we get the revelation that that's how they died because Beat saved Rhyme.
Yeah.
And there's no words. Like it's just like it's something like Beat have forgotten it, and we're like finding out with Beat that that's how it happened. And that was a powerful moment, at least for me.
Yeah. I'm totally with you on that regard.
Are you? Am I the only person that's really interested to see where Beat's story goes from here? Like
No.
I feel very much invested in this character now. Like I want to know where he goes because now he's in a very precarious situation. He doesn't have a partner, so he can't use powers. He can't use psychs. He's by himself, probably in the Reapers game still, because he never won, never got out. And the last thing we see is he's kind of like attacking or getting angry against Reapers. But are we to assume that because of the rules of the game, the Reapers cannot harm him? Are we supposed to assume that?
Yeah. Guess, because and also like just the dude that stopped them and saved him. I wonder who that guy is.
Yeah. He doesn't appear to be a Shinigami because he doesn't have wings. I wouldn't be surprised if the
Yeah.
twist is that he is a Reaper, but he just doesn't agree with everything. You know what I mean? You know that kind of usual twist that you see in these kind of things. Um,
Yeah.
um, or maybe he's someone like Beat that is just like because I think what we're led to believe
Because,
if we're go ahead.
because he sort of because he clearly has some form of authority if he can just stop the Reapers like this.
Yeah, he has something, and like the Reapers knew who he was. You know what I mean? It's not something that was hidden from them. And what I find interesting also is the fact that when you think about it, right? Give me one second. When you think about it, the whole thing with the Reapers and stuff like that, and that guy in particular, I mean, he could be a Reaper, he could be something else. I don't know, but man, I lost my train of thought for a minute. Um, he man, I lost my train of thought. Isaac, keep going.
Also, is it just me, or is what's uh, what's their name? Uh, Suki and what's the guy's name? And the two Reapers
Oh, I
that
don't know their name.
always or
I honestly do
you
not
know
know their name.
those that we are getting introduced for in the beginning. The
Hmm.
one that always have a lollipop in his mouth and the
Right.
whole short-haired, red-haired Reaper. You
Hmm.
know who I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The pretty
and
much Jesse and James.
that's what's exactly what I was gonna say. Doesn't they give off Jesse and James from Pokemon vibes?
Yep. Yep. 100%.
Although more
Yeah.
serious villains than those two are.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't disagree with you. And I remember what I was gonna say. But yes, they do have these Jesse or James vibes, and they're like the only Reapers we see. Like we saw a couple of other Reapers, and we saw the big bad of the first arc, if we're to say that. Um, but so 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 I'll go back to my idea in a minute, but and I won't forget, I promise. But I like the idea of taking advantage of what you said with Jesse and James and that Reaper and the fact that we don't see many, and we finally got like our first big bad boss fight, right? I kind of like the idea of I don't know if that's the way it's gonna go, but I kind of like the idea that as in a video game, an RPG, a well done RPG, is divided into mini arcs that tell an overarching story, right? One of the best one of the best examples of this is Persona. So you can say that Persona 5, each palace is an arc in and of itself, but they're telling the big story all around through these little arcs, right? So I kind of like the idea of the game story in the animation being divided into like 3 to 4 episode arcs. And I really hope they keep doing that as opposed to having one whole arc in one episode, because I wouldn't be surprised if the rules of the world have already been explained. Like each Reaper's game is going to be 7 days each, and we'll probably see a couple of days per thing. I kind of like that rhythm, and I really hope they stick to it because I
Rhythm.
think, yeah, right. That's bad. You're horrible,
I
Mister
know.
Pun, the mad pun. I'm not gonna do it. Um, look at this, kids, guys. Look at his name, the mad pun Isher. I'm not making this up. Um, but I really think that there's this thing where if we have that rhythm or that pace where it's every 3 or 4 episodes we have an arc and we have a development where we introduce a character and move the story forward and move to a different location, I think that's a good way for it to go, and I'm really excited for it. I mean, like these first 3 episodes, I think they were as an arc. If we were to see them as an arc, I think they were solid. I mean, we know what the world is, we know what it's about, we know the stakes involved, we kind of know the characters. I do find it kind of interesting that they're still not taking the time to explain how abilities work, but we do see power scaling in terms of as they encounter different characters or different adversaries, you see that time has passed where they've developed new abilities, and all the abilities that they developed are like expansions or evolutions of previous, similar to what we have in Final Fantasy, where you have fire, and Faraga, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You kind of see that, especially in this
Hmm.
episode. Apart from the fact that now we kind of learned, like in Chrono Trigger, they kind of have like dual techs too, where like when they start charging ki, even though they're not screaming like Son Goku, um, they either heal themselves or they charge to do super abilities. You know what I mean? So I kind of like how they're doing that like low key, like they're not making a big deal about it. But us that know video games go like, ooh, so that's what's happening. Someone is doing um someone's doing duck down, hold up, square. You know what I mean? Like you're getting a little bit of that like you see what I'm saying? A little bit of that like background shatter that's kind of like in service of gamers, which I like, and I love the fact that even though it is an animation, they're not losing that perspective that the people that know what this is know that it's a game. And I kind of like how the director kind of knows, like, hey guys, don't worry, I haven't forgotten. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's very smart and makes me very happy because I think I barely got through 2 episodes of the Persona 5 animation because I hated it to death. And I think it was because
I mean,
I think it was just
just like,
trying too hard to be an animation, to you know what I mean, to be separate
yeah.
from. And it's funny because if you're going to try and make it more separate from the game, I think there's enough dialogue and story in Persona for you to flesh it out into an amazing anime. Like that's the one thing I think is my biggest problem with the animation for Persona 5. It's because you can technically take most and just fluff out a little bit of the middle scenes and have an amazing anime. How do you ruin it? I mean, okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna do
I
that. But yeah,
mean, how should I put it? It's you have to do some form of changes with an adaptation. I'm not going to argue with that.
hmm
Still, in that regard, I can understand what the persona and anime was trying to do, but it's not like they did pretended like wasn't even an adaptation, even though
yeah,
it forced itself to.
it tried
Yeah,
exactly. It forced itself to kind of like it made it a point to shed its its video game identity to the point that it harmed the execution. And I like how this one in particular, this animation embraces the fact that it comes from the game. And even now, personally, I don't know if it's because, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't this animation look a bit more polished than the previous two episodes?
yeah.
It's,
Minus the whole end boss that looked a bit rough.
yes, but the end boss kind of falls under the same category of how all the monsters look, which is kind of like old fashioned CG. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good
So I
point.
didn't have that much of trouble, but I know what you're saying. But I like how like everyone looked more defined. I like how all the character models have like the have the black line around their shape all over. You know what I mean? That makes them pop up like stickers as opposed to being just like, you know what I mean? You
Yeah,
understand what I'm so I like all that
yeah.
and it sounds
Um,
amazing. And this episode in particular made me think if there was any if a Kingdom Hearts anime ever happened, this is the type of animation that I would want.
it wasn't it. Isn't it supposed to come on a Kingdom Hearts animated series on Disney Plus? Or am I mistaken? I thought I heard something about that.
Well, if they are doing it, this is the take that I want them to do. Like this animation, or at least an extension of this, because I like how this animation captures all the things that you would get from the game without it being like too outside of it. I think this animation is just right, and I think this animation feels like Kingdom Hearts or whatever. Like I wouldn't want a CG series. I would want something like this. You know what I mean? Something that I can enjoy in this
Yes.
manner. I think it will work just perfectly, especially when you have them with characters like Mickey and Donald and Goofy. It will just work a lot better in this scenario and stuff like that. Especially, and you know what I would do? And this is just me. The perfect Kingdom Hearts series, in my taste, would be to do it like this, and then whenever you go to different worlds, change the animation.
Yeah, apparently there's rumors of Kingdom Hearts series for Disney Plus.
Well, I guess we'll see, because that would be amazing. Um, but to the thing that I wanted to talk about, so you know how you were talking about that guy, I think it's Honoyama or whatever, like the guy with the glasses that kind of helped the kids and kind of like took Beat aside after Rhyme died.
Yeah,
So if we're
you
to
can
let
say
so,
that he stopped player to get beaten.
wow, that's bad. That's really bad.
I mean,
Um,
it rhymes with my behavior.
why is it that no matter what we do, your puns are never out of tune? Damn it! Um, that is so bad, so bad. Um, but yeah, so one of the things that I find very interesting is that if we're meant to believe, right, that this is a world, this is a fantasy world that goes between the world of the living, the world of the dead. So are we to assume that this world, the underground, is a form of limbo, right?
Could be.
Where they're neither dead or alive. So who knows? Maybe this guy is someone that simply never left the game, and he's there to just help the players. That could be what's happening. I wouldn't be surprised. I rather it be that as opposed to it being that he's a reaper that went good. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's a reaper that went good either, because because when you think about it, I'm sorry. When you think about it, it makes sense because at the end of the episode, which is of course the big reveal, right? The idea is that if they win the Reapers game, which they do because they beat the big bad of this arc, they can get reborn. You find out that out of the two, only one can be reborn. And the one that stays can continue playing or can become a Reaper. And that's an interesting twist because it kind of makes you, it kind of puts you in a position where it's not a fair game. That's one. Um, it brings a lot more intrigue and mystery to it. And it makes you think that every Reaper that they faced is someone that has won the game before. So these people are strong. And it kind of gives me a bit of I don't know why, but I kind of felt a little bit of Eisen vibes from this guy, like him having his group of people. You know what I mean? And he continues to
Yeah,
recruit people to his. You know what I'm saying? Like he always has
sort
like
of.
the strongest on his side because all of them have beaten whatever. Um, and of course, the big twist at the end is that the person that is chosen to be reborn is not chosen by the partner, but is chosen by the person that works with the conductor, which we don't know if it's their idea of Hades or whatever. And even though Shiki is the
Yeah.
one chosen, because Neku chooses to play again, and he has made Shiki the person he cares about the most, here comes the idea of entry fees. The idea that she is used as his entrance fee to go back into the game. So now Shiki is trapped because of Neku. And the plot thickens. This is exciting. This is very exciting. I can't wait. And I feel kind of bad because I know that a lot of people know exactly where this is going, but I also like the fact that I don't know. And I really want to keep watching it, which makes this a great show. What do you think?
Yeah. I think you put the words right in my mouth,
Yeah. I mean,
so to speak,
it's a great.
because yeah, I really maybe I would have liked it if I played the game. I don't know, but as someone that hasn't, I do enjoy this.
Yeah. And now I want to know more about like the big bad. I want to know who the conductor is. I want to know where this goes in terms of um, where his battle, where he goes from here. And you know what makes me interested because now I'm kind of like theorizing. I'm going into my conspiracy mode. Um, so you know that one of the things that was interesting about Neku is the fact that he doesn't remember who he is, right? But
Yeah.
he actually had two player tags, not one. So what
Yeah.
if on the first game he won, but he wanted to go back to the game, and the second entrance fee was his memory. But every time you go back to the game, you get a new player tag. So what if
So
he
he
has
is
two tags because that one where we meet him is actually his second game,
could be.
which may be confirmed that once he goes in now, Since his entrance fee was in his memory, but Cheeky, he'll now have three.
Yeah, we shall see. That could be something
And I
that I
think
could
also
easily see.
it kind of lends itself also to like a very interesting setting because now you got to think. So who's going to be his partner now? Is it going to be him and Beat, or is it going to be the kid that we see at the credit scene,
I
which is
wouldn't be surprised if either.
like someone new entirely?
Yeah, I could be. I wouldn't be surprised if it's someone new. I wouldn't be surprised if it's that kid that we saw at the end of things. But I also wouldn't be surprised if well, Beat get becomes one.
Yeah, I wonder if there's
I
going to
mean,
be a point
may,
where he'll be
maybe
able to do
Beat becomes a
abilities by
Reaper.
himself. Could be a Reaper. I don't know. I
I
wonder if
mean,
there's
he
going to be
could.
a time. I'm sorry.
Maybe, maybe he become a Beat becomes a Reaper.
Funeku?
Beat.
Oh, Beat. Well, remember, he can only become a Reaper if he wins.
Yeah, but he didn't. We never saw him dead.
True. That's true. That is true.
So it's that's just a theory of mine.
Who knows? That might be interesting and it might work. Who knows? But yeah, I'm really excited for the show. It's the plot is thickening. I'm kind of growing into Neku as the main character. I was heartbroken with Rhyme, even more heartbroken with what happened with Shiki. I'm really excited to see what happens next. So, anything else on episode 3 of The Roll Ends With You, Isaac?
I can't wait for episode 4.
Awesome. Guys, The World Ends With You comes out worldwide every Friday. I watch it on Funimation. Isaac, you watch it on Wakanim?
Yep, I do.
So stay tuned for episode 4 of The World Ends With You. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you do not miss any thoughts or reviews or reaction videos on The World Ends With You, My Hero Academia, and many, many more. Thank you for joining us. If you have any anime suggestions for us, send us one on the comments of this video below. Also, find us on Twitter at Amateur Otaku Pod, as you can see on the screen, at Amateur Otaku Pod. Thank you for joining us, guys. We will see you next time with more discussion of The World Ends With You. Have it awesome, guys. Peace.
Peace.